Once upon a time, in a bustling town nestled between rolling hills and babbling brooks, there lived an old woman named Mrs. Jenkins. She was frail and weather-beaten, her clothes worn and patched from years of use. Despite her humble appearance, Mrs. Jenkins possessed a heart of gold, brimming with kindness and compassion. One dreary afternoon, Mrs. Jenkins found herself overcome by hunger pangs that gnawed at her stomach like ravenous beasts. With trembling hands and weary feet, she made her way to the nearest restaurant, hoping to find solace in a warm meal. As she shuffled through the door, the atmosphere shifted palpably. Whispers danced through the air like mischievous sprites, and eyes darted furtively in her direction. The patrons and waitstaff exchanged disdainful glances, their expressions marred by judgment and contempt. Mrs. Jenkins felt the weight of their scrutiny pressing down upon her like a heavy cloak. Unperturbed by the hostile reception, Mrs. Jenkins quietly took a seat at an empty table. She smiled warmly at those around her, her eyes twinkling with kindness despite the weariness etched upon her face. Yet her attempts at friendliness were met with icy indifference and thinly veiled sneers. As Mrs. Jenkins waited patiently for a server to approach, she couldn't help but overhear snippets of conversation from nearby tables. Words like disgusting and eyesore stung her ears like venomous barbs, causing her heart to ache with sadness. She wondered why her mere presence seemed to evoke such disdain in others. Unbeknownst to Mrs. Jenkins, her arrival had stirred something within the patrons of the restaurant. In their haste to judge her based on her appearance alone, they had lost sight of their own humanity. They had forgotten the simple truth that kindness knows no bounds, and compassion is not reserved for the privileged few. Suddenly, a commotion erupted near the entrance of the restaurant. A young mother, burdened with bags of groceries and a wailing infant, struggled to navigate the crowded dining area. With each step, her frustration grew and tears welled up in her tired eyes. Without a second thought, Mrs. Jenkins rose from her seat and approached the distraught woman. With gentle hands and a soothing voice, she offered to lend a helping hand. Together they managed to settle the crying baby and unload the groceries, their shared laughter filling the air like sweet music. In that moment, something miraculous happened. The patrons of the restaurant witnessed the transformative power of kindness firsthand. They saw how a simple act of compassion could bridge the divide between strangers and bring light into the darkest of moments. As the evening wore on, the atmosphere in the restaurant shifted once more. The once hostile gazes softened, replaced by looks of introspection and humility. The patrons began to realize that true beauty lies not in outward appearances, but in the kindness of one's heart. And so, as Mrs. Jenkins bid farewell to the young mother and her child, she left behind a legacy of love and understanding. She had shown those around her that it is not our differences that define us, but rather our capacity for empathy and compassion. As the old woman disappeared into the night, a sense of gratitude washed over the patrons of the restaurant. They knew that they would always carry with them the valuable lesson they had learned that day: never judge a book by its cover, and always stay sympathetic and kind.